There is a certain kind of person who can be drowning and still refuse to call for help. They can be exhausted, overwhelmed, completely lost, and yet when someone asks, "Are you okay?" they smile and say, "I'm fine." Not because they are fine, but because a part of them believes their pain is something they should handle alone. They do not want to inconvenience anyone. They do not want to take up space. They do not want to become another problem that someone else has to carry. So they stay silent. And the strange thing is that most people never notice. From the outside, they look independent, strong, reliable, the person everyone else depends on. But beneath that strength often lives a secret fear, a fear that has followed them for years. The fear that their needs might be too much, their emotions might be too much, their existence might be too much. And if that sounds familiar, then this video may explain something you have never fully understood about yourself. Because people who secretly feel like a burden are not weak. They are often carrying a psychological wound that has quietly shaped the way they see themselves and the world. Nobody is born feeling like a burden. A child does not enter the world believing that their needs are inconvenient. That belief is learned, and it usually develops slowly. Sometimes it begins in a home where emotions were ignored. A child cries, nobody listens. A child asks for help, nobody comes. A child shares a problem, someone responds with frustration. Over time, the brain starts collecting evidence. It forms an unconscious conclusion. My needs create stress. My feelings make life harder. I should handle things by myself. Psychologists call this core belief formation. The brain creates a rule about who you are and how relationships work. The dangerous part is that these rules often survive long after the original situation is gone. The child grows up, the environment changes, the people change, but the belief remains. And eventually, the person begins treating themselves like a problem that must be managed instead of a human being who deserves support. That is where the fear of being a burden truly begins. And once that belief takes root, it starts showing up in everyday life. This is one of the strongest signs. People who secretly feel like a burden become experts at hiding pain. They know how to smile when they feel broken. They know how to laugh when they feel exhausted. They know how to say, "Don't worry about me," even when they desperately need someone to worry about them. The reason is simple. They do not want their struggles to become someone else's responsibility, so they minimize everything. A bad week becomes just stress. A mental health crisis becomes just tiredness. A broken heart becomes, "It's not a big deal." The result is that nobody realizes how much they are carrying, and eventually they start feeling invisible. Not because people do not care, but because nobody can see pain that is constantly hidden. For most people, asking for help feels uncomfortable. For them, it feels wrong. They rehearse messages for 30 minutes before sending them. They delete texts asking for support. They spend hours trying to solve problems alone, even when help is available. The strange part is that they would help other people immediately. If a friend needed support, they would show up without hesitation. But when they need support themselves, a different rule appears. A rule that says, "Other people deserve help. I should handle it myself." This double standard is incredibly common, and it keeps them trapped in isolation, not because nobody cares, but because they never give people the opportunity to care. Listen carefully to how they speak. "Sorry for bothering you. Sorry for asking. Sorry for taking your time." The apology appears before the request, before the conversation, before the need. Why? Because deep down, they already assume they are creating inconvenience. Psychologically, apologizing becomes a protective strategy. If they apologize first, maybe people will not become annoyed. Maybe people will not reject them. Maybe people will not see them as too much. But every unnecessary apology quietly reinforces the same painful belief. My existence requires compensation. And that belief slowly damages self-worth. Most people enjoy receiving help. People who feel like a burden often feel guilty receiving it.
Someone buys them lunch. They immediately want to repay it. Someone offers emotional support. They feel indebted. Someone does something kind for them. Instead of feeling loved, they feel uncomfortable. Their brain starts calculating. How do I pay this back? What do I owe them? Have I taken too much? This happens because kindness feels expensive, not financially, emotionally. They struggle to believe that people can care about them without expecting anything in return. This is where the burden becomes heaviest, because eventually they stop sharing almost everything. Stress, fear, loneliness, sadness, they carry it all internally. From the outside, they appear calm. Inside, they are fighting battles nobody knows about. Psychologists sometimes call this self-silencing. The person suppresses needs in order to maintain connection. Ironically, it often creates exactly the opposite: distance, isolation, emotional exhaustion. Because human beings were never designed to carry life completely alone. So what can someone do if they recognize themselves in these signs? The answer is not becoming tougher, it's not becoming more independent, and it's not learning how to hide emotions better. The answer is learning a truth that feels uncomfortable at first. Your needs do not make you a burden. Your emotions do not make you a burden. Your struggles do not make you a burden. They make you human. Every healthy relationship involves giving and receiving, supporting and being supported, helping and being helped. The people who genuinely care about you do not see your vulnerability as a problem. They see it as part of being human. The moment you understand this, something begins to change. You stop treating your needs like crimes. You stop treating your emotions like inconveniences, and you start allowing yourself to exist without constantly apologizing for it. The truth is that people who secretly feel like a burden are often some of the most compassionate people in the world. They care deeply for others. They think carefully about how their actions affect people. They try their best not to cause pain. But somewhere along the way, they learned a lesson that was never true. They learned that needing support makes them difficult to love, that feeling pain makes them weak, that asking for help makes them a burden. But none of those things are true. You were never meant to carry everything alone. You were never supposed to earn the right to receive care, and you were never a burden simply because you had needs. You were always worthy of support. You were always worthy of compassion. And perhaps the strongest thing you can do is finally allow yourself to believe it. If you recognize yourself in these signs, leave a comment below and tell us which one felt most familiar. You may discover that far more people understand this feeling than you realize. And if this video helped you see yourself with a little more kindness today, please like the video and share it with someone who always carries everything alone. Because sometimes the people who need support the most are the people who ask for it the least. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.